Hey Chantel, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Have we talked before?
No, but I'm on
Okay,
here
that's good.
every single
Where
time.
you from? Where you at?
Well, right now I'm in Charlotte.
Okay,
I'm from New York. I market all over the place because I joined a couple of hedge fund affiliations. So all of these cities they give me, I do them all.
awesome,
Yep.
awesome. So, how can I help you out today?
Okay, speaking of probates, because you and Zach talk about probates a lot, I got my first one under contract and it's not fun.
Yeah, well,
Um,
so what's not fun about it?
Okay, so the seller actually got it from a tax sale. It has heirs on the title, and three of the heirs are deceased. One is in a nursing home. So
Okay,
there were either two choices: either I make a way or send somebody to the nursing home to get the signature, and or the I was given an option. Was it, I don't know if it was a title company or the attorney that told me they would have to do a 30-day publication, and then the 30-day publication was 30 days out. Then it would be $3,000 for a quiet title. And I'm like, oh my goodness, my closing is was supposed to be next year.
yeah.
So the seller was okay with extending it, but is it normal for it to take that long?
Well, so which state are we talking about?
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Okay, so how did you find you got this deal from someone who bought the tax certificate or tax deed?
Yes, actually, I do code enforcement. And
Okay,
when I cold called code enforcement, the seller was telling me he got it from a tax sale.
okay. So just to let you know, these aren't really traditional ways you get probates. So you have multiple layers of problems here past the probate. Okay. Because when it's weird how it works. So I'm just here like, I don't want to freak everybody out on this. What Chantel's going through is not typical. You won't go through a lot of these. So let me ask you, what is the potential profit in it that you see?
Oh, like 40K. Oh,
Okay. So I've done both things you've said. Some are painful. It's harder than you think to get in the nursing homes, especially if you're not direct family. Like the thing like makes it very, very difficult. I went through this with like personal family. It was like entering a military base, like to try to get there. Like we had to get there an hour ahead of time. We had to schedule. You could only be there so long. Now that being said, I've had to go get signatures of people that are incarcerated. Nothing's worse than that, in my opinion, because you have to sit there, and some are nice, but some like will torture you the entire hour. Like, can you get me cigarettes? Can you get me this? Can you get me that? I'm like, cigarettes? What do you need? I get like a list, and I'm like, and my wife's like, what are you doing? She goes, you smoking? I go, no, I got to go back to the jail because they want cigarettes and they want a type of candy. I swear I did this, and like okay, but I got tortured for 3 weeks trying to get a signature. The other problem is when you deal with someone in a nursing home, like, are they of sound mind? You typically got notary issues. You got to bring a notary with you. They're hard to get in there. I'm just telling you about some challenges with it. Now, the quiet title, not the end of the world. So I'm going through two of them right now, properties I've owned for years. So what's the condition of the property?
pretty bad. It was I was told it was in a tornado, so it needs just about
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So one of the other strategies I do on properties, like I've bought mobile homes that have like very complicated title issues, but I have access to the property. I know what the issue is, and then I can put them up for rent while I have a lawyer straighten it out, and then I let the renters fund the lawyer because you're right about on it. It's $3,000 to $5,000 to do a quiet title. Quiet title is basically where you announce to the world if you have a claim, you need to come forward, come to court, and if they don't, the judge puts a stamps on it and goes, "Okay, Chantel, the property is yours." I only do quiet title if no one's coming out of the woodworks because it's a real nightmare to try to challenge a family member on a title issue. So um, you have to weigh the profit potential on it. So let me ask you, how much do you have to fund it for?
And how much is the quiet title?
No, how much is the contract price?
Oh, super cheap, 20K.
Okay, so you got to kind of make a decision. Now I'm going to give you what my rules are. That this is not for if you're beginning. If I will risk up to 15 15K, maybe 20 in today's market, if I got a shot to at least double or triple my money and I can like minimize the risk. The question is, can I get my 20K back when it's all said and done? And you're going to have to make that decision on your own. I can't make it. I don't know if you're going to get those signatures, and I don't know if you got to hold a lawyer. So the problem is going to be time. So, is the house going to be condemned? Are the taxes paid on the house? Obviously.
Yes.
What's the city's view on the house? Are they trying to condemn it or like do code
Um,
violations on it?
no, the seller pays the taxes on time. And he did say he was going to start repairing it, but he takes care of his father, so he doesn't have the
Yeah.
time. So it's just a matter of somebody going in there doing the work.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you, there is a market in this world. Like I own 2 homes. I don't have clear title on. I'll never get clear title, but they pay me 1,500 a month. And I laid out about 20 grand. Now I didn't have to do a lot of repairs, so I took a calculated risk. So you're gonna have to calculate it. This isn't really like a probate challenge because the guy who buys it on like the tax deed, it just it's ridiculous. It would be easier if you just kind of dealt with the family. So do you know where the other heirs that are missing that need to sign off?
3 are deceased, and one is in a nursing home.
Okay.
And the one in the nursing home is an elderly. So I would have to find her power of attorney. So I think the easier way out is the publication because more than likely,
Okay. So
I'm
work with
assuming
the
they won't.
attorney. So guys, whenever you do a real estate deal, you have to calculate, like you get some complicated stuff. And Chantel, don't get tied up in the weeds. Pick the avenue that fits you and minimizes your risk on it. Because it's like if you don't have 15, 20K to risk, don't do it. I'm just here to tell you, do not do that. And that's what I'm here to tell you on that. So I don't know if that really helps you or hurts you.
Well, I'm
Now,
a
if that house was in
wholesaler,
perfect
so
shape,
what
I
I
would
was
tell you,
going to do was pay the 3K for the quiet title, and once they informed me that it's a quiet title, then I was gonna wholesale it, but I didn't want to market it until I got that title problem fixed.
correct. So there is a market for people buying properties with screwed up titles, but they want deep discounts for it because they're taking a risk. So as I told you, I own multiple properties that I know what the problem is with the title. I've been told by a lawyer like I have to wait 5 years for one of them. I'm in year 3, but I've already pocketed like 25 grand on it. So like I'm not really at risk. And there's a lot of people are, the housing's ridiculous right now. It's hard on everybody. So I think there's an opportunity, but it would be much better if the property didn't need all the repair, but you're going to have to kind of
Right.
make a decision and figure out your risk level. I personally, I could like fund that deal, pay for the lawyer and just figure it out. But I don't want that to be like anybody's first deal because that might be everything you got and that wouldn't be worth it. The problem is you don't have an outlet to like cash it out right now. So the person that's selling you on like the tax deed is a contract. What type of contract did you use with them?
A purchase and sale agreement
Yeah.
that can be assignable.
Okay. So a lot of times on there, sometimes they sign a contract. Just here's a little record. If it says there's so many contracts between ours and your local like real estate ones, if your contract says on there it has to be delivered with clear and free title, he's kind of obligated on your contract and he can't get out of the contract until he delivers it free and clear title. So you can use that as leverage on people too.
Yes, he did tell me up front. He was transparent that the reason why
Okay.
I was like that because at the time he didn't have the $3,000 to pay. So I thought I was saving him
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
willing to pay the 3K.
But you can tell if you decide to move forward on it, are you okay going back and asking him for a discount?
I mean, how much more discount can you get? 20K,
Girl,
that's
listen,
like the bottom
I
of the
think it needs
bottom.
at least a $3,000 discount to pay for the legal fees on it. I'm just telling you,
Oh yeah, I took I
give it
counted
a
that. Yeah.
shot because you got nothing to lose. You're into real estate. Why? Wholesaling.
Right.
Why do you do it?
Why do I do what?
Wholesaling.
It's to make money and
Okay, but
it's
what's that money give you?
freedom of my
There you go.
time.
So Chantel, the idea is take like listen, guys, we are so conditioned in society just to like take whatever's given to us, never ask. You have to ask. Okay. Let me give an example. I've been dealing with a property that I've had a lot of interest in for over a year. and they put it on the market, and the realtors can't sell it. I went to the realtor, said, listen, sit down and talk to me. We can come up with a deal. It's got some unique features. It needs cash. So the realtors try to sell it. They don't have cash buyers. And so I wait 6 months, let the listing expiring, and I go knock on the door. The realtor lit me up, and I said, listen, are you open to a creative solution? Yeah, come on and talk. I don't know how to sell this thing. And I'll walk out, $2 million contract. So I'm just here to tell you, it could have been solved from day one. We have to think outside our box in it. So at least ask for it. And so many people think asking for a discount's rude. It is not. It's how life works. Do people ever ask you for a discount, Chantel, on anything? Like, hey, can you cut me a break, or like any service or product you have ever dealt with?
Yes, but that's like somebody saying, "Oh, you can have my house for $1,000," and then you ask for a discount when the stuff is like the lowest it can possibly get. I mean,
So here's my theory, okay? I always go for the no. You have so many things going on with the property. I feel in my heart you can substantially ask for a discount. The problem is when you ask for a discount just because you overpaid for the property, that's where it gets really sticky and I hate it. But like when you buy it, you find out now, honestly, they did give you full disclosure, but just say, listen, my lawyer said it might take like up to a year to get this done. So I didn't really plan on that. I go and just use, have you ever heard of the scrunchy face method? Like, listen, just would you consider like a $5,000 discount or 3,000, whatever number you're comfortable with, and go, is it something you're open to, or is that off the table? And if he lights you up, go, yeah, that's what I thought. You just back out. But I'm telling you, half the people will say, Chantel, if that gets the deal done, I'll move forward. The worst they're going to do is say no to you. Is it going to hurt you? You're used to people saying no, right?
yes.
I'm used to it. If you're not in wholesaling, you're not okay with no, get out now because you're going to get killed. I'm just here. 97%, 98% of the people say no to me. I just need one or two yeses to fulfill what I want to do. Ask for it. Come up with you already have a reason built into it, and just go in with like, hey, listen, I hate to ask this, but I didn't plan on this taking a year to clear the title. My lawyer says it's complicated, and the rates are like really high. Can you just knock off like $5,000? Because you're like, no, I can't do 5, but maybe I could do 2 or 3. Bingo, you just built in the financing to pay for it. So
And if he say no,
he says no,
I'm
you have to make
happy
it.
because I
You
got
have
to
to
get
make
out
a
of the
decision.
deal.
You have to make a decision, right?
Because if he say no, that's all right. I'll be like, okay, thank you, because that was a headache. But I'll try.
But listen, when he does it, like just be quiet and wait for the full response. And look, do you do this in person or is it on the phone?
On the phone.
Okay. So just listen to him carefully and listen to his tonality if it breaks up, and you'll be fine. Guys, so many times you just don't ask for what you want, and that's why you don't get it. I've found this way the hard way in life. My first 33 years of life, I just took everything that was handed to me. And like, listen, I had a good life, but like it wasn't exceptional. Like, and ever since I started asking for more and get more and demand more of myself, I can ask for more from people around me. And Chantal, you should do the exact same. The only thing he's going to do is say no to you. That's the worst case scenario. He's not going to hurt you. It's over the phone. You're safe. Okay.
Okay.
You got it, man. Like, but I mean, they're good problems to have. Guys, we're here to solve problems. We're not doing traditional real estate. And you know what? I promise you at the end of this, you'll learn so much more. Like, I didn't even know what quiet title was. I go, how's the title going to be quiet? Like, I had to sit down with a lawyer and get schooled on it. So you're about to do the same. So the next time it comes up, guess what? Now you know exactly what to do.
Yeah, and I would assume majority of probates will have heirs usually.
Yeah,
And
it's complicated when they don't. So what happens, guys, is they didn't pay the taxes, which isn't uncommon. Most people, when someone passes away, usually within 3 to 6 months, they file for a probate and everything kind of gets taken care of and wrapped up. There's a certain amount of people that decline it and they just don't want it because they don't want to pay the lawyer fees. And those are my favorite because I go, listen, I can show you how we can open up probate. I pre-negotiate everything with the lawyer. And if there's a clear-cut way, meaning like all the heirs are either still alive or like they're in the United States, then you can help them out. You got to understand, most people don't want to pay $3,000 to $5,000 to do a probate. Like they don't have the money for it, even when there's equity in the house. And you guys can offer an amazing service if you offer that to them. I'm here to tell you, if I do that, I usually front the attorney about $1,000. Okay, guys, $1,000. It's like it's like going to Vegas and knowing exactly what color the roulette wheel is going to land on. You got an 80% chance of that deal going through. I'm all in. If it's 50-50, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not here to gamble. Like we're running a business. So you got it. I think you got plenty of information. Any other questions for me?
Yes. Do you ever go through heirs that are drama? Because I've had
Ah,
situations where the heirs don't get along. One is locked
okay.
up, the other one don't talk to the other. One says no. One is
Okay.
it's crazy.
Just to Chantel, I did a deal recently with 26 heirs. Took 2 years to put together. Um, I'm here to tell you, like, no guru is ever going to tell you this. Is a lot, a lot of wholesaling is you have to be. So, any of you guys got psychology degrees? Dude, wholesaling will put that sucker to work. Number two, you wind up being a social worker. You would be surprised
Oh
how
yeah.
many people like. I'm just like, I didn't even know there was problems like people. It's just people have struggles in life. And so the drama. So what you have to do is find a way to limit the trauma. Here's a couple tips. In the old days, I used to market to the heirs. I stopped doing it for exactly what you told me. I had to hear the whole family's business. So and so did this. She did this. She's screwing me this way. She tried to kill a mom. I'm like, so you have a loyalty to the person that called you typically, and that's the personal representative or the executor. And you got to try to focus on that person because there's a reason that person's in charge of that probate case because they're the responsible one in the family. And the problem is when your number gets to like all the heirs. So, guys, statistically on probates, if you can have 4 heirs or less, you got a good chance. Once there's more than 4 heirs, someone's always difficult.
And if one say no, doesn't that slow
Okay.
down the
So
entire process?
correct. Like you can't get them all, but like I got the 26 heirs. I had one holdout at the closing table. We all agreed. And she said, I need $15,000 in cash. And I've done this enough. I could sit down without a lawyer. I go, let me explain how this is going to work. So the rest of the family wanted to kill her. And here's how it works. If one person holds out in a probate and they're completely unrealistic and they're harming the estate, the other heirs can enter into and file a motion with the court, and then the judge will actually pull them out, and then they'll move on with the case, and then they have to hire a separate lawyer, and then they have to dispute their claim on the probate. And if they lose, they have to pay all like the lawyer's fees. Depends on what state on you're on. So, listen, if I got 3 or 4 people can't agree, there's nothing you can do. So I literally sat at a probate once with 9 brothers and sisters, and the brothers got so upset they got in a fist fight in the yard. I go, listen, call me when you guys figure this out. I can't referee it. 3 years later, they came back to me and sold me the property. So it's like, guys, you can't make people come to it. But like when there's one holdout, I'll typically offer some sort of incentive, especially if I can make a good profit. Go, listen, I know this, but here's the problem. If I offer $1,000 to that person, the rest of the heirs get really upset because it all has to be on record. So you go, listen, can I get you a gas card? Can I do this? Can I do that? And if you don't sign, this is going to happen. But so focus on the PR or the executor because the heirs, the reason they are not the PRs, the executors, because they probably cause drama in the family and they probably would never walk the probate through. So I used to market to them. I stopped doing it. I couldn't take the phone calls. So I'd market to the PR and I'd market to like 3 or 4 heirs. The heirs always called me and the PR didn't. And it just drove me nuts. I thought I could use the heirs to get the PR's phone number. It doesn't work that way.
So with probates, I could just say goodbye to 30-day closings.
No, listen, they happen. It's just if you can catch somebody, you got to catch them at the right time before. Make sure the taxes don't get too far behind, the mortgage doesn't get too far behind. It's a great deal. But guys, you're just here to solve problems. You have to manage the drama and you got to manage your risk. And if you can do that, you'll do well. I'm here to tell you, Chantel, you probably know this, but not every deal works out. So the key is to try to have as many deals in your pipeline. And when somebody rips your heart out of your chest, you're like, okay, I can move on. There's nothing worse when you have one deal, they rip your chest out of your heart, rip your heart out of your chest, sorry, and you just feel defeated and you want to quit. And so you got to go work on the next person. You can't like let it's like if you've ever been in a sporting event, some days you get taken to the shed, man. Like you just got to go back to bed and like start over on a new day. We've all had days like that. So
Okay.
you got it. I could tell you're really good at talking to people and just use your skill sets. And remember, use people at the title company and lawyers to help you solve some of your problems, because I don't want you using too much brain power to do it. So I got stuck in that for a little bit when I first started doing probates. And I go, listen, my job is to connect with people that want to sell their house. And then I'm going to find as many people can help me accomplish this. And it's that simple. The rest, leave it up to like people that get paid and that's all they do, because you're never going to know everything. You'll learn, but it's like, then you have to become a lawyer. Then you have to become a title company. You don't want to do all that. So you got this.
Yeah.
All right, Chantal, you see, she's on first. She got the most time. So I want you guys to know, and like she came on, like I came in the office here and she's on like 50 minutes before it even came on. So